Hi, 8th grade. Today we're doing our lesson for Thursday, March 19th, and it's lesson 7-1 again, day 2. We're going to be working on page 414, 0 and negative exponents. This time we're going to be simplifying some expressions with variables and also plugging in and evaluating those expressions. Our gotta check is going to be problem number 3, and it's page 416, number 3B. Homework for tonight starts on page 417. It's numbers 21 to 28 and 37 to 40. Also, please do your bell ringer plus 3 sentences. Bell ringer today is page 411, number 21. Okay, let's get started with problem number 3. So, problem number 3 is on page 416, and it asks you to evaluate an exponential expression. So this is evaluate, and I'm going to also say simplify with exponents. Okay, this time we're going to be working with variables, and then once we work with the variables, we're going to be plugging in our expression. So let's take a look at an example. So this gives us an expression. It's going to be 3s to the third power and t to the negative 2 power. And it's going to tell us that s equals 2 and that our t equals negative 3. Okay, so the first thing we have to do with this expression is we're going to simplify. And in terms of exponents, simplifying means no negative exponents. We don't want to have any negative signs with the exponents. So that's really important. So let's simplify our 3s to the third, t to the negative 2. My 3 is fine as it is. My s to the third, well, that's a positive exponent, so no worries. I can leave that in how it is. But my t to the negative 2, that is a negative exponent. So I need to kick it to the basement. So I'm going to kick it to the basement, and once it goes into the basement or the denominator, remember it becomes positive, and that's what we did from yesterday. Okay? Now I am ready to plug in my values of s and t. Okay? So that's going to be the evaluate part. So I'm going to plug in, and I'm going to use parentheses. Okay, parentheses are really important here because that might change things for you in the expression. So I'm going to plug in, so I have 3 times 2 to the third power. And then on the bottom of my expression, I'm going to plug in parentheses negative 3 squared. Okay, let's see what happens here. So order of operations tells me I need to do exponents first. So 2 to the third power would be 8. So I have 3 times 8 in the numerator of my fraction. And then on the bottom, if I take negative 3 squared, negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. So I have 9 in the denominator of my fraction. Let's multiply this out. So this is going to be 3 times 8 is 24 over 9. And if I look at these numbers, I can tell they're both divisible by 3. So I'm going to simplify this fraction because we're in 8th grade and all fractions must be simplified. 24 divided by 3 is 8, and 9 divided by 3 is 3. So my final answer here is going to be the fraction 8 over 3. Okay, pause the video now. Let's try the gotta check. Remember, the gotta check is on page 416, and I believe we are doing 3B. Okay, looks like we're ready to try out the gotta check. So our expression was n to the negative 1 and w squared, and it told us that n equals negative 2 and our good old friend w equals 5. Okay, let's plug in and see how this works. But before we do that, we have to simplify. My n is to the negative 1 power, so that means I have to kick it to the basement. So I'm going to be just left with a 1 up at the top of my fraction, And on the bottom, I'm going to have my w squared still. He doesn't have to move because he's simplified. And my n to the first power down here. Okay, now I'm ready to plug in. So for w, I'm going to plug in 5. So that will be 5 squared. For n, I'm going to plug in -2. And that's raised to the first power. So let's see what happens. 5 squared is 25. And that's going to be multiplied by a -2, because that's -2 to the first power. 25 times -2 is -50. So my final answer is going to be -1/50. Okay, if you can do that, you can definitely do homework for today. So remember, homework is page 417, numbers 21 to 28 and 37 to 40. Also do your bell ringer in 3 sentences, page 411, number 21. Remember, you can do it on paper and attach as a scanned file, or you can do it on a Google Doc with Equation Editor. All right, good luck. See you tomorrow.